I'm Damla Actaman Goche Jazz. Welcome to my knitting channel. In this video, we're knitting a crisp cardigan together. I'm using cotton yarn and cotton bamboo yarn, which my beloved Bill Heil Hobby Company sold to me 2 years ago, as shown below. It comes in 6 colors. Anthracite is the base color. I'm using the other colors as accent colors. I'm preparing my motifs, combining them, and turning them into a cute cardigan. I hope you enjoy it. You'll find it worth knitting with me. Take a quick break from the video. I'd like to talk about the join button. By clicking the join button, you can support me by choosing one of the options. Lots of love and thanks to all my join supporters. I have 54 motifs. Let me show you the colors of these 54 motifs up close. Of course, you can work with different yarns too. You can also use winter yarns in this project and make your cardigan perfect for the season. Each of my 54 motifs is 10 centimeters. I anticipate my cardigan will fit sizes 36 to 42. I'll give you exact measurements at the end of the video. I'll also explain how to size up there. I'm crocheting these yarns with a 3mm crochet hook in this project. Let me quickly set my motifs aside and show you the back piece I've joined in front. The piece has 5 motifs widthwise for the back and 4 motifs lengthwise, meaning it will be a short cardigan. You can achieve the length of the cardigan with plus 9 motifs. E5 motifs widthwise and 4 motifs lengthwise, meaning I have 20 motifs on the back. 8 plus 8 16 motifs will be on the front. So, 36 9 plus 9 on the sleeves, meaning 18 36 plus 18 54 motifs are needed. First, I want to show you how to make my motif E. It's quite easy and a pleasure to knit. After I show you how to knit the motif, I'll also try to explain how I combined it. So, let's start making the motif. Before we move on to the motif, I want to remind you that my channel needs your invaluable support. You can support me by subscribing for free, liking, and commenting. It would make me very happy if you could also share my videos with your friends and the people you know. By the way, I'd like to thank my supporters once again here. So, let's get started. I'm working in a magic ring. How did we make the magic ring? After wrapping the yarn around my finger, I pull my hook out and pull my stitch out. After locking it in there, I chain 3, that is, lock it in, then chain 3 on top of it like this, and that's how you create your first leg. I'm working with a fake double crochet. I rise, turn it, and pull it onto my hook. I insert it into the gap of the magic ring and pull out my stitch. I first pull the yarn from my finger through the slipped stitch, then through the loop I turned, and hold it on my hook. Because we're starting with almonds, I'm working another double crochet right next to it and knitting the stitch together. I have 2 chains in between. I'm going to work 8 stitches from this group. I've completed my first group as well. Always 2 chains in between. I'm decreasing this way in between, completing my magic circle by 8 stitches. I'm working my last group as well. 1, 2, 2, 4, 6, 8. I tied in the middle nicely and knit the 3 stitches on the hook together. Since I want to stay in the middle here and go up, I make a chain and grab my yarn over my hook. I've also pulled up the yarn in the back. Here, I slipped the top of the first almond stitch I made and pulled this stitch over my hook. I slipped the stitch inside and knitted the 3 stitches together, staying in the middle. Now, I'm immediately working a chain here and working a fake double crochet. I go up once and hold it on the hook. 2 more stitches next to it. I went up once and knit the double crochets and knit the 4 stitches that I picked up on the hook together. I now have 2 chains in between here. I knit 1 double crochet into the next space. Then I pull 2 chains again and come to the next space. 1, 2, 3. I have 4 stitches on the hook. I am knitting my almond formed with 3 double crochets. Now I have 3 chains here. 3 chains between the almonds. 1 more into the same space. I am knitting my almond formed with 3 double crochets. I'm going up. 1, 2, 3. I knitted them all together. Now I pull 2 chains here and knit a single double crochet here. I pull 2 chains again and repeat the part where I knitted these 2 almond groups again. 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches together. 3 chains in between. 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches together. 2 chains again. 1 double crochet here. Now I'm doing the same part again. As I'm nearing the end, I've worked another double crochet here. I started with 2 chains again and a group of 3 here. I want to work the other group of 3 there and stay in the middle again. To do this, I chain 1 and put my yarn over the hook. I slip stitch into the top of the almond, slip stitch, knit 3 together, and come to the middle. Now, I chain 1 here again, start with a fake double crochet. I work 2 more double crochets next to it once, pick them up on the hook, and knit my almond. I have 3 chains in between. Now, I'm working a double crochet to the right of the double crochet I've already worked here. A double crochet to the top, another double crochet to the left, and chain 3. Dot. I come to the corner space, work 1, 2, 3 hops all together, and chain 3. I repeat the same process in the same space. I work the corner space again. 1, 2, 3 chains. First, I'm working a double crochet to the right of this double crochet, a double crochet over it, a double crochet to the left, and chaining 3. Now I'm back in the corner and working the corner with my almond stitches. I'll continue in this manner back to where I started. I'm in the corner space where I started. I'm preparing my almond stitch, which is made with the other 3 double crochets. Since I wanted to stay in the middle here again, I chained 1 stitch and put my yarn over the hook. I slipped the stitch over the top of the almond stitch. I slipped the stitch off, worked the 3rd stitch as one, and again, just like I did below, I'm working my almond stitch, which is made with 3 double crochets. I chained 3 more stitches, and this time I'm adding 2 double crochets to the right and left of these 3 double crochets. And I'm working 1 double crochet on each of the tops. I'm now at the left, 2 double crochets. My double crochet count has increased to 7. I chained 3. I'm coming to the corner immediately. My corners are always the same now. My first almond stitch, 3 chains. My second almond stitch. 3 chains. And 2 double crochets to the right. 1 double crochet on each of the double crochets. I'll work another double crochet on the left, pull my chain, and continue with the same logic back to where I started. I've worked my last almond stitch again in the corner space I started. This time, I've made another chain. I've taken my yarn over the hook again, and I'm in the last row of my motif. In the last row, I no longer have almond stitches in the corners. I'll start like this. I'll make a chain. I'll rise. I'll immediately take it over the hook. I'm working my fake double crochet. I'm not holding it here like this. I'll work this one too, because as I said, it's not an almond stitch. I'll work 2 double crochets next to it. Then, I'll slip onto the top of this almond stitch and work a double crochet. I'll make 3 double crochets where I chain 3. Here, I'll make another 7 double crochets on top of the 7 double crochets. I've come to the space again. 1 double treble crochet with a chain. Like this. Then, a double treble crochet to the top of this almond here. Then, I come to the corner space here. First, I knit 3 treble crochets side by side. Then, I chain 3 and work 3 more treble crochets into the same corner space. Then, I turn around and do the same thing here on the edge. In other words, I work all 4 edges with treble crochets using the same logic. My last row will be completed with treble crochets. This way, my motif will be ready to be joined. Let's continue by doing the same thing I did on this edge, up to the point I started. I've come back to this last corner. I've knitted 3 treble crochets and chained them. I also slip and lock them over the top of the first treble crochet. And that's how I've completed my motif. In other words, I've made it ready to be joined. Now, I want to show you my motif right away. As I said, it's 10 centimeters. It's joined right there. Let's move on to the joining technique. I'll try to explain the joining logic to you on 4 motifs. Once you understand the logic here, you'll be able to join the other pieces easily. First, I slip off my stitch and take my motif. I come to the corner of my motif. And work 1 double crochet. Then, I chain and skip the first double crochet here. I work a double crochet at the top of the second double crochet. I chain again. I skip the next double crochet and work a double crochet over the next one. I chain 1. 1 double crochet. Using this logic, let's work to the end of the edge. I've moved on. At the end, I'll have 1 double crochet left. I chain another. I grab my yarn over the hook. When I reach the corner, I work 2 double crochets and chain 2. I chain 2 double crochets into the corner space again. 1 chain. Now, I'm skipping a double crochet here. Let's continue like this until the end of this edge, right on top of the double crochet next to it. I've already progressed to the end of this edge. Now, I've chained again here. I have 1 double crochet left. I skip it. I work 2 double crochets into the corner and chain 2. Then, I take my next motif to join next to it, and with the fronts of the next motif and the one I'm holding facing me, I work 1 double crochet into the corner. Dot. Then, I work another double crochet and come off the hook. I slip over the top of the second double crochet here, which is facing inward, and slip my stitch. I make a chain and skip this double crochet right here. I slip over the top of the double crochet next to it and slip my stitch through it again. I slip over the top of the double crochet opposite it and slip my stitch through it. I chain. I skip this double crochet and work a double crochet into the top of the next double crochet. I'm off the hook. I slip my stitch through the double crochet stitch right across from it here and made a chain. I'm skipping a double crochet. Using this logic, let's join the 2 edges until the end of the edge. Look here, I continued by joining them again when I reached the end. Now, I have 1 double crochet left here. I'm skipping it. I'm coming to the corner here, working a double crochet stitch, and coming off the hook. I'm joining the first double crochet stitch here. But here, I'm coming back without chaining. I've put my yarn on the hook. I've worked a double crochet stitch. I've chained it. That's how I'm off the hook. And I slip my stitch through the corner space here. Dot. I'm going to chain it and continue working. So, how? I've worked 2 double crochet stitches. I'm skipping a double crochet stitch. I'm skipping the double crochet stitch next to it again and working the same logic until the end of the edge. Then, I'll show you how to turn this edge and add the other 2 motifs on top. Now I'm going to knit it like this. I'm going to turn this corner as well. I'm going to turn this place as well. Let's continue until this transition over there. After joining, look, I've knitted this far, just as I showed. Now, how do I do this transition over here? I've made a chain here again. I come to the corner, work 2 double crochets, then I chain 1, and I slip into that space between these two groups, slip the stitch, and then I pull it through the loop on my hook. I slip a chain, come to this corner space here, work 2 double crochets into it, chain 1, skip 1 double crochet, and work a double crochet over the other, just as I showed. And I'm going to the end. I've made it all the way to the end. I've knitted 2 double crochets into the corner and chain 2. Now I take my next motif and, with the front facing me, I knit 2 double crochets inside the corner. The second one is here. Look, after I slip through the second one and slip my stitch, I make a chain. I skip the double crochet here and slip a double crochet onto the one next to it, slip it through the one opposite it, and slip it through. I skip a chain. I'm off. Let's proceed through the chain opposite it until the end of the chain, right up to the point where they intersect. Now I'm approaching this intersection. Look, what am I going to do here? I'm right at the corner. Look, after knitting the first double crochet in this corner, I immediately join it with the first double crochet here. There's no chain. I slip into the corner again. Dot. Now, I slip a chain and slip my stitch through it. And after I pull my chain, I sew 2 double crochets into the space of this corner. Skip a chain and a double crochet. Let's proceed to the end of this edge. I added the third and move all the way here. Look, I've pulled my chain too. Now, I take the next motif, it's front facing me, and immediately knit 2 double crochets into my new motif, then immediately switch off the hook. I slip my stitch through the second double crochet in the corner here, and chain it. I skip. I immediately slip a double crochet into the second double crochet. I hope I've made this clear to you. And let's continue with the same logic I've shown so far. Now I've moved on to the corner. When I get here, I immediately knit the first double crochet in the corner, then switch off the hook. I slip through the first double crochet here, and slip my stitch. Then, without chaining anything, I come to the corner, knit the second double crochet, and chain it. And at the exact center point where these 3 motifs intersect, I slip through my stitch, and chain it. After I come to this corner and knit 2 double crochets and knit the second one, I'll join these 2 edges together. I'll slip the second crochet in the corner of this double crochet, slip my stitch through it, and make a chain. Now, let's join these 2 edges together as I've shown. Dot. These 2 edges are next, and if I've explained this so far, you'll be able to easily join all the motifs using this method. Now, there's something else I want to show you right away. Now, by adding this like this, I'll add 2 more on top of it, for example, 2 on top of this, then 2 on top of that, for a total of 8 motifs. When I lay the left flap of my cardigan on the left side in front of me, I'll have knitted the front flap of the right side when I wear it on my left. I'm working horizontally. First, I knit this, then this. Then I add this, then this next to it. I knit the top again. First, this, then this, and I'll add 8 motifs, stitch them in place, and join them together. Let me show you on the other side like this. This is my front piece. My back piece. While knitting this cover, just like I joined the left side, what will I do here? First, I'll take one piece. I'm starting from the top. I'll add the next motif under the hop. Then, I'll add the other motif under it, and then the other motif under it, and knit this edge all the way up and start the next piece. I'll make 4 motifs, so while I'm making a vertical join here, I'll make a horizontal join on this side. Then, I'll join the 3x3 9 sleeve motifs and come back and add them together in their places. Now, as I said, it's time to join the 8 side and the 8 side fronts. Join the 9 sleeves and the sleeves and assemble them. I'll prepare the pieces and come back. I wanted to give you the measurements of the back piece first. I'll tell you the width, 58 centimeters wide, 46 centimeters long. I said it would be a tiny cardigan, a short cardigan, but the body is quite good, so it can be knitted up to a size 42. After knitting the 4x5 back, I immediately turn it inside out like this. After I turn it inside out, I want to show you how I place the right and left flaps. So, first, I take one of the flaps. Let me show you like this. This is mine, well, let me show you like this. My bottom flap starts to join from the side, and from there, right side, when I lay it down in front of me, it's my left side when I put it on my right. Where did I start this? Let me repeat, I started from the top. After knitting these 4 long pieces and knitting the edge, I added the other 4. I started this side like this. Here, I'm doing a vertical join, while on this side, I'm doing a horizontal join. In fact, think of the technique you first started joining with. Just like that. Let me show you like this. I took this from the bottom. I added this next to it. I crossed it over. I took this. I added this to this. And then, like this, my top is left open. I'm holding it in the wrong place. Hey. When my top is left open, I'll start joining it right here, joining it from that edge. I'm so sorry, I put the wrong piece in the wrong place. Look, this will be my open edge. I'll join it from here. This is my bottom edge. Look like this. This is the hem. I'll start joining this from here, vertically, horizontally. Remember, I join according to my hand direction. Maybe you've gotten into the habit of following your hand direction too. You can join it that way too. I want to say this. So, let's start joining this side right away. Let me move this to the side. Let me turn this in front of me like this. Look, the exact place I'm joining is like this. Let's zoom in a little bit. I'm going to join it all the way down here. Because I'm going to place one motif here under the arm, and continue by adding another motif here, and another motif here. So, I'm going to join it all the way up to here to create the armhole. So, let me show you how I start joining it. Here, I've worked 2 double crochets into the corner and made a chain. I'm slipping my stitch through this corner right here, and using the joining technique I just showed, what do? First, I work 1 double crochet. Then I work the second double crochet and then I'm off the hook. Here, the first double crochet, the one you started with, is inserted into the last double crochet on the return, slip my stitch, and then I chain. I skip a double crochet and work a double crochet into the second double crochet at the bottom. I come off the hook. I slip it through the double crochet opposite it and chain it. Let's continue with the same technique I just showed you until this part. I want to show you how we joined and crossed this middle section. I'm getting close to where I mentioned. When I get here, I immediately work 1 double crochet into this corner and slip it through the first double crochet in the opposite corner. I reach the corner without making a chain. I work 1 double crochet. Then I chain, slip it into the middle of these two, slip the stitch from the hook, and slip it from the loop on the hook. Then I slip it into the middle of these two motifs at the back and slip this stitch from there. Then I chain and come to the inside of this corner here. First, 1 double crochet. After knitting the second one, I'm taking it out of the second double crochet here. Dot. I'm making a chain. I'm skipping 1 double crochet here and continuing to join it into the second one using the same technique I showed you. As I said, let me show you how to continue when we get to the underarm. As I'm moving towards the underarm, I need to cut the motif right in the middle here. That's where I'm starting from. I'm working my way up. This is my exact center. So, when I get here, I can't work 1 double crochet and get right over the middle. Because, because of the knitting style technique, I'm stuck before the first one. It doesn't matter, I'm leaving the hook again for this one. I'm joining with the opposite stitch one last time. I'm making a chain. Here and I'm going to continue knitting without joining with the opposite stitch. Until this top corner. When I get here, we'll start joining with the upper edge. Now, look, I'm continuing to work normally here. Just as I showed you. From here on, I work without joining. I work 2 double crochets inside the corner. I've made a chain here. I'm coming off the hook and slipping my stitch through this corner here. I'm making a chain and working a single double crochet into the corner. Then I'm working another double crochet next to it, coming off the hook, and slipping my stitch through the double crochet opposite, I'm making a chain. I'll skip the double crochet and join the top 2 edges to the back motifs as shown, creating both the shoulder and armhole. Let's join this far. I've also reached the end of the shoulder motifs. Now, when I get to this corner, before working 2 double crochets, I'll complete the first one and join it with the one here. There's no chain here again. I'm working another stitch right next to it. Now I'm making a chain, and coming off the hook. I'm slipping my stitch between these 2 back motifs and passing it through them. These 2. Then I'm pulling a chain, slipping it over the top of the first double crochet I've made here, locking my yarn in place, completing one side. I've joined one side. Let me show you this quickly. we've completed one side like this. Now it's time for the other side. I'll join here the same way I did here. My direction is already clear. Let me show you again right away. Now, where do I sew from the top this time? I'll sew from here, in the middle of that section, and then I'll join the shoulders first. Then, leaving space to place another motif in the middle of this motif, join them together, and after adding opposite pieces at the bottom, we can start knitting around my cardigan together. I've joined the piece and reached the point where I started. Now, I'll go up here and start knitting around it. Before I insert the sleeves. How do I do it? I'm stuck in the corner here. I'm making a chain. Because I want to go up, I slip here, immediately slip my stitch, knit. 3 stitches, chain 1, and then rise up and knit my fake double crochet. Then I'm making another double crochet next to it. And here, I'll chain my tab ribs on. Here, skip the double crochet there, and come back to this one. I'm making a chain. 1 chain. I'm going around the top of the banister in the same way, using a lattice. Anyone who wishes can also go around it with a banister, that is, by weaving a banister into this space, and filling it in. But I'm going to fill it in and around it, so I'm going around it with a lattice because I want it to have a more casual look. Now, let me continue in the same way until the middle. Let me show you how I cross the middle. Now, when I got here, I made another chain. I worked a double crochet at the top of the banister here. I chain again. I came into this corner space and made a double crochet. I chain again and came back to this corner space. I'm working a double crochet here. And I continue with the same logic. I'm skipping 1 chain and 1 double crochet. Sorry, I made a mistake there, didn't I? I'll skip this and do it on top of this. Ah, that's it. Let me go to the part at the back of the neck. There's nothing different up to that point. Let's see how we get there. Now, we're right at the transition point at the back of the neck, where the motif is behind. Let me show you this. I'm continuing the same transition here. I've reached the top of the banister. I'm making a chain. I'm jumping to the corner here. Now, I'm going to make another chain here and jump to the corner here. And I'm going to make another chain, jump to the banister, and knit over this banister. There's really no difference. I'm continuing exactly as I started. Let's continue like this until we finish. Then, let's place the sleeves and complete our cardigan. After we've worked 1 row of lattice around it, you can widen it as much as you like. As I said, you can also knit with double crochets. You can also increase the size here. Since it's the perfect size for me, I don't need to increase anything. Well, I've placed one of the sleeves in place. I wanted to show it here too. Look, our armhole looks like this. We're placing that half piece, the lower motif, like this. Let's start placing the single motif in the armhole. Now, I've placed the armhole in front of me and I'm doing it like this. I'm going to place half of the motif right away, and when you think of it as a layered pattern, I'll blend it in like this. But on the other hand, let me quickly zoom in on a frame. Let me show you how I started. I'll actually be applying our joining technique here. Let me grab my yarn. I've made my chain here. I'm taking off the hook. I'm going to insert my stitch right in the middle of these two motifs here and pull it through. Dot. Then I chain one in. Knit 2 double crochets. After I've knitted the second one, I pull it through the corresponding double crochet here. I'm making a chain, skipping one double crochet, and immediately starting to join as I showed. Now let's move forward to here. I already showed you the transition here when I joined the sides. Let me show you how we've progressed up to here. I came up and joined from here. When I got to the armpit, I continued joining using the same logic. Look, I'm going through all the sections in order. Now I'm here. Let's join with this one right away. Then I've completed this section from here. I move on to this side and start adding half of this to the half section here. As I said, I'll show you exactly where it goes under the arm. Look, this is where it goes under our arm. We've worked half of it here, half of it here. And after joining this motif here, let me show you this right away. This will fit into the armhole like this, and we'll start to create the sleeve shape by joining our 3 motifs on the side. I'll continue working my way up to that point. Here, I've moved all the way down to the armhole. Look, by joining them, I'm also inserting right into the sleeve. After I pull out my stitch, I'll come to the corner and knit my first double crochet, then my second double crochet. Now, look, I'll join this sleeve motif like this to create the sleeve shape. To do this, let's pull it out of the corresponding double crochet stitch right across and continue joining the piece up to the sleeve hem using the same method I showed. I'm approaching the sleeve hem. Now, we continued with the same logic all the way up to the sleeve hem. When I get here, I knit my first double crochet and join it to the first double crochet stitch in the corner here. There's no chain here. Another double crochet right next to it. Now I'm chaining, and I'm slipping my stitch through this space here. Making a chain, and look, I want to stay in the middle. I need to stay in the middle to properly set up my lattice here. To do this, I've got my yarn over the hook. I've slipped my stitch into the top of the first lattice, slipped my stitch. I've knitted 3 lattice stitches together, and I'm in the middle. I'm chaining, and you can also go up here with a chain. I'm knitting my fake lattice stitch and then making a chain. I'm skipping this lattice stitch and knitting my first lattice stitch on the next lattice stitch. 1 chain. Now I'm chaining, and I'm knitting a double lattice stitch across the top of the lattice stitches, and I'll cross it over to where I started. Then, when I get back here, let's finish it together. I'm close to where I started. I'm here. I'm knitting it into the corner space. Look, I'm slipping a chain stitch over the top of the first lattice stitch here, completing a row of armhole stitches. I've reached the end of my cardigan. After I've placed the sleeves, I want to show you this corner again. I came back with 2 double crochets, a chain, and 2 double crochets. I wanted to let you know that. Well, a total of 400 grams of yarn was used, but you know, it's a cardigan that's a little bit below the waistline. We can't call it a full crop, either. With the 9 motifs, you can lengthen it as much as you want. If you want to increase the size E, which will work perfectly for sizes 40 to 42. If you want to increase the size, you can knit 1 row larger, or you can work 4 rows on the back and add motifs under the arms. But since we can't do this kind of joining when placing motifs under the arms, we need to add motifs to the shoulders. I have videos like that on my channel. I actually think it would be much healthier if you watched a few cardigan making videos and started making them. I hope this was a nice and clear video for you, and that you liked it. As always, I'm asking for your kind words. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I'd like to remind you that your comments and likes are invaluable. Thank you to everyone who's watched this far. See you in the next videos. Goodbye, friends.